What's happening, guys? Welcome to a brand new PRLostGalaxy2014 toy review on the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Magna Defender from, of course, my all-time favorite season. This is my second Lightning Collection review in a row, even though, if you haven't noticed, this was one of my first Lost Galaxy Lightning Collection pickups before the Red Ranger one. Real quick before I even, this is going to be a quick review because this is just one figure per video, because what I'm going to do is probably do some of these Lightning Collection figures reviews separate instead of getting all of the figures at once. Maybe on occasion when I do that, do like 2-packs when they come out in the future with new 2-packs or 3-packs. Well, if it's just single figures, I'll just do those for basic reviews just to make things a little quick and easy to the point. Looking at the Magna Defender package, this is just a lot like all my other Lightning Collection reviews, unlike most of my Power Ranger reviews. Thinking back to all the times I bought some of Bandai's Power Ranger stuff, Hasbro did a really great job doing the artwork on these character boxes. And as you can see, this is the artwork with Magna Defender on the side. You got the Lightning Collection logo with Hasbro's Power Rangers logo, which is a great imprint and very nice on that. And then another piece of art of each character on the side. And then what I didn't mention back in my last review on the Lightning Collection Lost Galaxy Red Ranger Second Red 2-pack last time, I never got to mention how Hasbro's Lightning Collection boxes are a lot slimmer than the Legacy boxes from Bandai. But when I do an all-out Legacy Collection figure review, so I can compare the Legacy figures with the Lightning figures the next time I do videos like this, that the Lightning Collection boxes are slimmer, like almost close to a size of a book, like a little small phone book or something. And it's kind of great that you can actually put this on a bookcase and slide them around, and that's pretty nice. Though one of the issues that I've noticed about the box art for Magna Defender, though, knowing based on product images, the gold trim around the mouthpiece to his helmet is missing based on the product art, and his strap where his holster, where his defender sword and blaster would be, is mispainted. But when looking at the actual figure, before I did the review, the actual figure, I had to correct how Magna Defender always looked. It always had a black strap, but for some reason Hasbro decided to leave it silver, when knowing they were paying attention. Even though I like these Lightning Collection figures so far, but if they were more intricately accurate to how the painting of these figures by their costumes truly looked. And as you can see, Magna Defender, I've been wanting to get this figure ever since he first came out. And this came from the second wave of Lightning Collection figures that came out, in the fall of 2019 last year, with Beast Morphers Red and Gold, which I will do when I get his figure, Beast Morphers Red. And of course, Mighty Morphin Pink. Goldar was part of Wave 2, but he was more of a GameStop exclusive. But I will get Goldar. Magna Defender, however, he looks real authentically like he just came straight out of the show as much as possible. That is freaking crazy, Hasbro. I'm serious, Hasbro. You did a really good job on this guy, because the more the more Power Rangers I'll collect from Hasbro from Lightning Collection, the better. Because I know I'm still going to work on doing my all-out Legacy Collection line, so I can have the Bandai Power Ranger stuff rest in peace after 25 years. But man, focus is just, let me try to get the focus on together. Okay, now, like I was saying, despite the focus difficulty, I can't believe that the way how these guys look, again, like I said back last review, I'm glad they didn't do all this muscle. You get some little bit of muscle, but not too much muscle, as opposed to a normal Legacy or other type of Power Rangers figure we had from Bandai before. Because Magna Defender, I noticed there's some silver stripe paint detail missing on the shoulder pads and around his waistline up to the upper abdomen, which is okay, I guess. I gotta be careful if I'm going to paint that to make it completely accurate. Although I took a black magic marker to make this more accurate, because I know a lot of collectors from their photos I've seen that they wanted to leave the silver strap, the strap to his holster silver, when knowing Magna Defender, if you look at his costume from like cosplay images or in, you know, Legacy Wars and Battle for the Grid and in Lost Galaxy itself, that Magna Defender's strap where his, you know, holster where his sword would be is really as black as his, you know, uniform is. What I also like about these figures is that some of the costume pieces to each of the characters, Ranger and Villain, are going to be, you know, rubber capes, because if I had, like, let's say an old, you know, of all the years I've had a couple of Batman action figures from Mattel, from DC, you know, DC Multiverse or something. No, actually before DC Multiverse. I'm going to do some DC toy reviews probably this season, but I'm still focused on doing Power Ranger reviews before I do any Marvel or DC stuff, and likely do Transformers if I have the money and time for it. And, like, you know, I like the way how they actually captured the essence of his cape, although there's some scrapes and rubble on his cape, but I guess that's fine, I guess. It reminds me a lot of rubber capes I've had from some old Batman action figures I had when I was growing up as a kid, but if only that, you know, I'm wondering when we do get Lightning Collection Mystic Force figures, for those who are, you know, fans of Mystic Force, I know they're going to go with rubber capes, because, you know, if only if I could do some good posing with his cape, because I just like the way how Magna Defender just looks on the show. Now hold on for a second as I pull out one of his older Bandai figures as a comparison. And thus a blast from the past. This here is the, now on the right, this is the original Magna Defender that Bandai did, but my Magna Defender that I got from eBay a couple years ago did not come with a cape or his sword or blaster. This is just Magna Defender where I just didn't have nothing with him. Although I had a piece of cloth for his cape, but oh well. Yeah, because this was how Magna Defender looked over 20 years ago, where, yeah, he had muscle, because, you know, knowing how Bandai did Power Rangers back then, versus how delicately, you know, beautiful Hasbro recaptured the essence. Because you see, Bandai, for some reason, I mean, they were fine with how they did Power Rangers back in the day, especially in the case of Lost Galaxy from the late 90s, but, like, for some reason, Hasbro actually did a way better job than what Bandai was doing with Magna Defender. Although the only things I didn't like about the way how they did Magna Defender in the 90s with his toy is that the horns were a little, I don't know, too adjacent, while the horns on his helmet, it looks just right. I would say that, you know, Hasbro did his chest armor better. Bandai, you tried, but it's just too much muscle on this one. The green hexagon from Hasbro, if there was some glittery gold, you know, shimming to it, it would look much awesome. But what Bandai tried to do with this one, with the hexagon, it looks plain and bland. The gold parts around the suit on the Hasbro one looks better, while the Bandai one, well, it just looks bronze. While this was a perfect, I would say this was a slightly perfect shade of black on all his armor. This just looks like completely mate kind of black on the Bandai 90s toy. But, you know, that's just one of the things about Magna Defender, is that they actually, you know, did a way better job with this than what they did with the 90s toy. Throw them away. You're done. You're obsolete. So that's one of the things I like about Magna Defender that, you know, Hasbro, you know, created, because I never really thought, of all my years of getting Power Ranger toys and of all my years of wanting a lot of Lost Galaxy stuff, would I ever really see Magna Defender done justice and more like in the show. Okay, enough with him with the, you know, his blaster. Now let's look at Magna Defender with how he, you know, with his sword in his hand. I'm trying, okay, and then do some iconic posing of his, or one or two poses of his, and, you know, not nearly as perfect how I'm trying to get, you know, capture the posing, but yeah, this is how I think of Magna Defender as opposed to the old 90s toys, where you get more articulation with more, you know, pivots of the ankles and bending knees, and then elbow jointing, and yeah, because you know, I mean, the more the better, because until I do an all-out review on all the legacy figures from Bandai versus my current Lightning collection reviews of these Power Ranger figures, I just can't wait until I do all of the Lightning collection. And now let's have Magna Defender stand with Leo. Now, like I said before about if you know, there was another Magna Defender figure, it would have came with Mike's head, much like how Leo, you know, the Red Ranger came with Leo's head. But as you can tell, this is really, you know, from what I heard from product descriptions, that this was really the original Magna Defender, when Magna Defender still had Mike's soul in spirit in his body when he was wreaking revenge against Scorpius in the beginning of the season. And I'm glad that you know, they got Magna Defender right, but it's just if only if it came with Mike's head. It can be either both the original Magna Defender when he was still bitter and resentful against Scorpius for what Scorpius did to his son, or it's Magna Defender with Mike's head. But I guess since Mike is such an unpopular character, you know, I just wish they should have gave him some love that he deserves. But luckily, why do you think Mike as the Magna Defender appeared in Beyond the Grid and the Boom comics? Although I will get to those comics when I do, mostly starting with Beyond the Grid, so I can see Magna Defender in the comic. And also, he was probably in Shattered Grid, yeah, in the comics there. And I think, you know, as the Lost Galaxy character cast is getting along with these figures, you know, who would have thought that these would come out just right? Because I just wish that if Bandai made Power Ranger toys like this years ago, you know, before Hasbro got it, then I would have been happy. But since I can't believe, as soon as I grew up and close to pushing 30 now, still collecting action figures and still a Power Rangers fan, who would have thought that they would actually nail this team? And I think the team is coming together, but once they do Lost Galaxy pink, yellow, blue, and green, then I'm going to have the entire team. But it's going to take a while for the rest of Lost Galaxy to come out. I hope they do some villains, because like I said in the last video, because I want my Lost Galaxy villains. I definitely want to see Trakina getting made, because either if they're going to have it in her normal form or her armored form or her mutant form, either Trakina figure, and also Deviant, Villamax, and all the other villains from Lost Galaxy, because they have been begging for action figures for the last 2 decades now, since '99, and here we are 2020 at the time of this review, and I'm still waiting on this. So let me know what you guys think, and I'm off for now. Until next time, my next Power Rangers review, as well as a Lightning collection one. Thanks for watching.